On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. Today we're going to be talking about falling in love with the Moth, Faerie Prince by Camilla Evergreen, which is her third book in the That's Paranormal series. It came out in March, and the back cover synopsis says, "Just so you know, kidnapping is on the table. All I've ever wanted is to live in a fantasy world, and yes, I am willing to sell my soul to a Moth Faerie Prince to make that happen." Which is perfect because I've sort of accidentally maybe kind of hit one with my car. That's exactly what he asked for, my soul and a kiss. But we won't talk about that because he told me not to, and I am very good at keeping secrets, especially the one about how he flew into my headlights. I didn't immediately blurt that to his Chihuahua shifter and vampire cat friends at all. I know I'm in over my head when he announces to his entire kingdom that I'm his soulmate and blackmails me into playing his princess. In fact, I think I was in over my head long before I ever stepped foot into Faerie. A scandalous forced marriage of convenience isn't going to fix that feeling, but maybe, just maybe, the Moth Faerie Prince, who looks at me like he's never met another person before, can show me the answer I've been unable to find on my own. This is a single point of view fantasy paranormal rom-com with the royalty trope, forced proximity, one-bed soulmates. The intimacy is high. You get desire and mention of sex, innuendo, and fade to black in the bonus epilogue. There's no language. However, there's like F and a hyphen. You never get like the whole word. Or there was once where she said freaking ducks, and I don't know why, but I found that very funny. So there's no language, but it's implied, I guess. The violence is really mild. There's brief moments of life in peril and threats. As far as potential trigger warnings, though, there is intrusive thoughts written down on the page because the main character does struggle with depression. So that was my biggest one. The neurodivergency struggles just right there. There's lying, kidnapping, morally gray kind of things. So that is my one con with this book, is that it was a little dark compared to what I normally read. I'd never really read a dark romantasy before, so that was kind of a bit of a struggle with like the morally gray aspect. But it was mostly just watching them struggle with depression and the intrusive thoughts, because I have a small idea of what she's been living through, and it's hard to read. It's hard to read that someone feels that way. But it had such a hopeful spin on it, that we're all going to be okay kind of a thing. That it wasn't, obviously I think it was wonderful and everyone should read it, but it wasn't bad, but that it was a con. And I definitely don't think this book is for everyone because of it. So I will say Camilla is amazing at writing the reader expectations. And I think this should be a universal thing with all authors everywhere. You should do that. But here's my biggest pro with this, is she included also an author's note, and it was beautiful. And even if you don't read the book, every single person on this planet needs to go read that author note. It was phenomenal. Other pros for this book was the life lessons. Here's a couple of them. No one can choose their origin. They can only write the chapters that follow. Parenting can have blame cast on it, but blame can never be cast far enough to matter. The final choice belongs to us. Problems are nothing to be afraid of. Problems are solvable. Only time will tell how many steps we need between to come to the solution. Sometimes the darkness inside us looks so much worse to our own minds than it does to the people we love. And all of these quotes in this book are just, I was highlighting like crazy because I was like, how beautiful are these reminders to everyone? But she always balances out like those poignant, powerful moments with humorous writing. It's a great rom-com feel to it as well. Like when Alana was driving and she thinks, why do left exits exist in America? And I could not agree with her more. She also says, at times my hubris astounds me. She asks, is it polite to smell people in Faerie? And the answer was, it's not impolite. Many people must breathe, and scents have the audacity to exist. The comment, your emotional support black mold really isn't decor, was probably my favorite one. It just cracked me up. And the one I related to the most is, it's neat in theory, right up until the point you realize it involves hard work. Respectfully, I am allergic. And I just very much relate to that. My favorite part was the bonus epilogue, though. I was just giddy after the illegal school scene, knowing what was coming in the next book, and I am just so curious that it's possibly unhealthy. But the next book is coming out the end of April, and I will, of course, be putting up a spoiler-free review on Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. And then I will be doing a podcast recording about it in a couple of weeks because I want to give everyone a chance to read it before I do. So find me at enjoylifewithme.angela on Instagram. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this series. Happy reading.